There's a version of you the world hasn't met yet. Not because you're hiding it, but because you've been trained to survive, not to become. You've been handed rules that told you how to play small, how to wait, how to seek permission before you rise. And somewhere between responsibilities, routines, and rejection, you forgot. You forgot that you were born with power, that clarity is not found, it is claimed, and destiny is not luck, it's a decision. The greatest lie ever sold is that success belongs to the chosen. But let me tell you the truth, the world won't shout. Success is reserved for the disciplined. Not the smartest, not the most gifted, the most structured, the ones who no longer allow their emotions to dictate their execution. The ones who rise not when they feel like it, but because they said they would. And now that must be you. This is not motivation. This is reconstruction. This is the moment you stop trying to feel ready and start becoming relentless. You see, the reason most people fail is because they treat success like an emotion. They wait to feel motivated. They wait for energy. They wait for the perfect mood. But success has no patience for your feelings. It waits for no one. It rewards action. It rewards structure. It rewards those who show up on days when there's no applause, no audience, no adrenaline, only the quiet echo of their own promise. So understand this now. Discipline is louder than talent. Routine is louder than inspiration. Your calendar is louder than your vision board. You don't need more goals. You need more follow-through. Every man has a dream, but only the few who create systems for those dreams will ever feel them breathe. You can speak affirmations all day, visualize abundance, shout, "I am successful," into the mirror. But if your habits say otherwise, your future won't believe you. The world doesn't respond to what you say. It responds to what you repeat. So the real question isn't, what do you want? It's what are you willing to do daily, without compromise, until it becomes who you are. Because here's the brutal truth. Your future is not built in the big moments. It's built in the boring ones. The alarm clock, the meal prep, the unread email, the calendar block, the 5 a.m. decision, the Friday night you don't waste, the Monday morning you don't dread, the routine you don't break. Those are the bricks. That's the real construction site of greatness. And while everyone else is seduced by the hype of overnight success, so if you're tired of starting over, if you're done quitting early, if you've decided that you are no longer available for mediocrity, then build the habits of a man who commands greatness. And here's how you do it. Step 1, identity before outcome. Stop asking, what do I want to have? Start declaring, who must I become? Most people build habits backwards. They say, I want to get rich, or I want to get fit, or I want to be confident. But those are destinations, not identities. You don't rise by wanting more. You rise by becoming more. So you must begin with the image of who you already are beneath the fear. Because here's what nobody tells you. Your habits will always try to match your self-image. If you see yourself as lazy, your brain will create habits to confirm it. If you see yourself as weak, your brain will look for reasons to quit. But if you see yourself as disciplined, powerful, consistent, your actions will start to align even when it's hard. You must speak the identity before you feel it, because repetition rewires the mind, not emotion. If you want to be consistent, you don't wait to feel consistent, you act consistent, and then your identity will catch up. Let your new inner dialogue sound like this. I am the kind of man who follows through. I am the kind of man who keeps his word to himself. I do not wait to be inspired. I act from vision. Repeat it until it becomes the only story your subconscious believes. Because belief is not something you find, it's something you install. Step 2, design your days like a warrior. Let me ask you something direct. If I looked at your calendar right now, would I see evidence of your goals? Or would I see chaos, excuses, distractions, and drift? You cannot build a powerful life inside a schedule that tolerates weakness. Your structure must scream your standards. Every block of time is either a weapon for your future or a window for your failure. Plan your days like a man on a mission. That means sacred morning hours. That means focused blocks for deep work. That means non-negotiable rituals for recovery, reading, reflection, and resilience. That means you don't let the randomness of the world steal hours from your mission, because every minute you give to comfort is stolen from your calling. And this is where most people fall apart. They plan for success emotionally. You must plan for it strategically. You don't hope to win. You create the structure that makes winning inevitable. That's how you become dangerous. That's how you become unstoppable. Step 3, make it frictionless. Most people fail not because the goal is too big, but because the first step is too hard. So make the first step effortless. Want to read more? Put the book on your pillow. Your environment is either accelerating your excellence or enabling your excuses. There is no neutral. So build an environment that forces you forward. Remove the triggers of your old self. Flood your space with reminders of who you are becoming. Build your system so strong that even on your worst day, your habits still hold you up. Because here's the secret nobody wants to admit. You don't rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the strength of your systems. And if your systems are built on emotion, you'll fall every time. So from this moment on, let your habits become armor. Let your rituals become weapons. Let your structure become a fortress, because when your habits are forged in intention and not left to circumstance, you no longer chase transformation. You live inside of it. Now let's go deeper, into the fire where most men turn back. There is a threshold that every person who seeks transformation must pass. It's invisible, but you'll feel it like a storm in your chest. That moment when you've been doing the work, but the results still feel far, when the excitement fades, when no one's clapping, and the voice inside begins to whisper, "Why are you even doing this?" This is where average men give up. They call it burnout. They call it failure. But what they're really experiencing is identity pain, the friction between who they were and who they're becoming. It's the resistance that happens right before the breakthrough. And most people don't make it through, not because they're weak, but because they were never told that this pain is proof of progress, that doubt is a signpost, that pressure is prophecy, that on the other side of discomfort is the version of you you've been fighting for your whole life. So let me say this to you now, clearly, with fire and certainty. When you hit resistance, do not retreat. Rise, because resistance is the birthplace of reinvention. The man who breaks through doesn't wait for the world to change. He changes in spite of the world. He uses resistance as confirmation, not that something is wrong, but that something is working. If you feel that pull, that strain, that mental war, good. That means you're no longer repeating the past. That means you're interrupting the old identity. And yes, it hurts, but growth hurts. So stop fearing the pain. Start using it, because when you do the thing anyway, when you show up in the dark, when you execute in the fog, When you refuse to quit in the silence, you don't just build momentum, you build a new self-image. You become a man who sees pressure and still performs. You become a man who walks through the valley and keeps his pace. You become dangerous, not because you feel no fear, but because fear no longer controls your feet. And that is the shift, the defining one. When you stop doing success and start embodying. Because now it's not about the outcome, it's about ownership. You're not here to collect rewards, you're here to carry responsibility. Now listen to me. You're not building habits for the version of you today. You're building them for the version of you 5 years from now who walks into a room and doesn't even need to speak. His presence speaks for him. His structure walks in ahead of him. His life is the echo of thousands of invisible victories no one saw, but everyone feels. Because here's the next truth no one taught you in school. You do not rise to your goals. You rise to your standards. And standards are built through pain, through decision, through sacrifice. Not the big dramatic kind, but the quiet kind. The kind no one praises. The discipline to go to sleep early when the world is watching Netflix. The integrity to do your deep work when no one's checking. The strength to say no when every part of you wants to say yes. These are not minor things. These are the exact threads that stitch the fabric of greatness. And if you want a future that feels solid, one that doesn't fall apart at the first sign of stress, then you must become obsessed with those small, consistent choices. Because repetition is not just practice, it's prophecy. What you repeat becomes who you are. But let's get even more practical. Let me introduce a weapon that the most elite performers use every single day. It's called the Power Hour. And if you install it correctly, it will become the most transformational 60 minutes of your life. Here's how it works. You start each morning, not with your phone, not with email, not with noise, but with alignment. 20 minutes of movement, not to burn calories, but to activate your physiology. You move to remind your body that you're alive, powerful, capable. 20 minutes of mastery, feeding your mind with something that upgrades your thinking. Read, listen, learn. Because the man who expands his thinking expands his results. And finally, 20 minutes of vision, journaling, planning, visualization. You must see your goals before the world does. You must lead your day before it begins to lead you. That's the Power Hour. It is sacred, untouchable, non-negotiable. You protect it like a warrior guards the gates, because you are not reacting to life anymore, you are constructing it. And this brings us to the heart of mastery, the shift from motivation to conviction. Motivation fades, conviction stays. Motivation is emotional, conviction is identity-based. Motivation whispers, maybe. Conviction shouts, this is who I am. And if you truly want to rise, if you want to be unshakable, then you must stop relying on hype, dopamine, or hype videos to move you. You must become the kind of man whose habits are louder than his feelings. The kind who doesn't flinch when life gets chaotic, because his standards are rooted too deep to shake. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. This is the line, right here, right now, where the old you ends and the new one begins. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. And here's how you cross it. You declare a new standard. You choose one habit, one commitment, one non-negotiable that reflects the man you are becoming. And you execute it every day for the next 30 days, without excuse, without exception. It can be waking up early. It can be reading every day. It can be making your bed. It doesn't matter what it is. What matters is that it proves something to you, that when you say, I will, you mean it. Because confidence isn't built from compliments. It's built from kept promises. And the most powerful man in any room is the one who keeps the promises he makes to himself. From that foundation, you can build anything. And let me remind you of something you already know, but forgot. You were not born to blend in. You were not made to stay quiet, stay small, stay hidden behind your fear. You were created to build, to lead, to become so grounded in your standards, so consistent in your systems, that the world no longer wonders if you'll succeed. It expects it. Because the truth is, greatness doesn't announce itself with fireworks. It reveals itself quietly, through consistency, through self-respect, through invisible discipline that stacks into unshakable power. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to be consistent. You don't need to go fast. You just need to never stop. You don't need to impress anyone. You just need to make yourself proud. And that is what this is all about. Not chasing success like a ghost, but embodying it with every breath. So now the mirror asks you again, who are you becoming? Not in theory, not in dreams, but in daily actions. Because your habits, not your hopes, are your future. There comes a point in a man's life where he must stop admiring discipline in others and start demanding it from himself, because admiration without application is self-betrayal. You see men doing what you know you could do. You watch them rising, building, speaking, executing, and deep down you know the only thing that separates them from you isn't talent, isn't timing, it's traction. They've been moving while you've been waiting, but no more. Because the second you stop making decisions based on your current results and start making them based on your future identity, everything changes. That version of you, the one who is focused, calm, intentional, the one who lives with structure, shows up with clarity, leads with presence, and attracts results like gravity, he already exists. He's just buried under years of distractions, doubts, and detours. And your job, your mission, is to bring him forward through repetition. So let me speak now to that part of you that still doubts. The voice that says, but what if I fail again? What if I lose momentum? What if I build it and it falls apart? To that voice, say this: then I will rebuild. Then I will rise again, because failure is not a threat. It is a tool. It refines you, reveals you. It does not define you. In fact, most people never reach mastery, not because they fail too much, but because they recover too slow. A champion isn't the one who never falls. A champion is the one who always gets back up faster than he did the last time. So if you miss a day, you don't spiral, you recalibrate. You don't let a mistake become a new identity, you interrupt it. And that's what this level of awareness gives you: power over your patterns. Because the second you become conscious of your choices, you become capable of change. You are no longer reacting to life, you are responding to it with intent. That's where your real freedom lives, not in some perfect life far away, but in the exact moment you take radical ownership. Ownership of your time, ownership of your focus, ownership of your standards, your thoughts, your words, and your wake-up time. And I'll say this again because it matters more than you know. Your wake-up time is not just about mornings. It's about identity. When you rise early, before the noise of the world, you're telling yourself and the universe, I'm in control now. I lead, I decide. I rise while others sleep because my vision won't build itself. So don't just wake up earlier, wake up differently. Wake up with decision. Because success is not built by who you are when it's convenient. It's built by who you choose to be when it's not. And most men live stuck in loops. Emotional loops, thought loops, addiction to comfort, stuck in cycles they never question. But you've decided to break the loop. You've stepped out of the circle and drawn a line. and you said, this is the last day I live below my standards. This is the last day I tell myself I'll change and don't. This is the last day I let my goals collect dust while my habits collect dust. Because from this moment forward, I don't just act different, I am different. And that difference will not be felt in your feelings. It will be felt in your calendar, in your speech, in the way you enter a room, in the way you move when no one's watching, in the way your results begin to multiply, not by accident, but by alignment. And that's the ultimate goal, alignment. When your vision, your habits, your identity, and your standards are one. That's when you stop chasing confidence and start radiating it. That's when people stop asking what changed because they can feel it. Your energy, your precision, your presence, it announces itself. Because greatness doesn't need to shout. It's felt in silence. It's in the way you keep showing up with consistency that scares the average man. It's in the way you say no to the quick win and yes to the long game. It's in the way you build with intention while the world scrolls in distraction. And as you do this, day after day, something sacred happens. You become unrecognizable, not to the world, but to your old self. You'll look back and barely recognize the man who used to snooze alarms, chase comfort, negotiate with laziness. Because now you're in command. You're not looking for shortcuts, you're building systems. You're not hoping for motivation, you're running on conviction. You're not reacting to life, you're writing it. Because here's the final truth. You are not building habits, you are building evidence. Evidence that proves to your mind every single day that you are exactly who you say you are. That you are the man who finishes what he starts. That you are the man who protects his standards even when no one is watching. That you are the man whose life is a direct reflection of his values, not his mood. And if you stay on this path, if you keep repeating the right habits with the right intensity, in the right environment, aligned to the right identity, you will become inevitable. Not flashy, not noisy, but inevitable, because the world bows to the man who outlasts it. So here's how we end. You don't wait for the next opportunity to prove your worth. You become the opportunity. You don't wait to feel ready. You decide to act aligned. You don't chase greatness anymore because you finally realized you are it. Now walk like it, speak like it, live like it. Not tomorrow, not someday, now.
If this message touched something in you, even just a little, help us share this frequency. Subscribe to our channel and send this video to someone who matters to you, because no one awakens alone. And the light you found here might be the light someone else has been waiting for.